Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist. Today I'm going to be doing a Nephtys deck profile. Now this is a really interesting deck that I really love, and I'm really glad that they actually gave the Sacred Phoenix of Nephtys some support and some love in the Hidden Summoners pack. So without further ado, let's get straight on this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think of this deck profile down in the comments down below. So let's get straight on this. So this deck is very similar to Fire Kings, if you guys have ever played Fire Kings, except it's like Fire Kings with ritual monsters, which is kind of weird that they turned this deck into a ritual deck. I guess they didn't want to make it too close to Fire Kings, and that's why they went with the ritual route of it. And I love the artworks of what they've done with this deck, so it's really good. I've even tried to fuse Fire Kings in here, and you can, but I find that the standard build or the pure build is a little bit more consistent. So let's get straight into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Cerulean Phoenix of Nephtys. Its effect is that you can ritual summon it with Rebirth of Nephtys, and then once per turn, you can use the effect of use this effect once per turn. And during your main phase, you can destroy any number of Nephtys cards you control or in your hand, and destroy equal number of cards your opponent or equal number of monsters your opponent controls, which is really good. And then during your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon it from your graveyard, which is amazing. That's why I'm like, it's kind of like Fire Kings because they special summon from grave. Then we play 3 copies of Devotee of Nephtys. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephtys, and then if this card is ritual summon, you can special summon 1 Nephtys monster from your deck. Also during your in phase destroy it, which is not a big deal because a lot of them benefit off of being destroyed. And if this card is in your grave, you can destroy 1 Nephtys card in your hand, and if you do, special summon this card. So it kind of brings itself back, which is really awesome. Then I played 2 copies of Sacred Phoenix of Nephtys. Some people play 1. I think 2 is better because you can just roll them so easily, and you can special summon them so easily and make them into link material, and it makes them live by having 2. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your during your next standby phase. And if you special summon this card, this way destroy all spell and traps on the field. So it's just like Harpy's Feather Duster or Heavy Storm on the field when it's summoned, which is just really great. It's just an overall really good card. I just wish its stats were a little bit bigger, but you can play 1 copy if you want to play just 1 copy of it. I like to be honest with you. So then we play 2 copies of Defender of Nephtys. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you do, special summon 1 level 4 or lower Nephtys monster from your hand. We only play level 2s, so I mean it's not that big a deal. Except another copy itself. And during the next time phase, after this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the grave, you can destroy 1 Nephtys card in your deck, except another copy itself. And if you do, you special summon it, which is really cool. Or you just destroy 1 in your deck, which is, I mean, you don't get to special summon it, but I mean, you still get to destroy the card and they get their effects, which is nice. Then we put like 2 copies of Matriarch. 2 copies of Matriarch is basically you to target 1 of your level 4 Nephtys monsters in your graveyard, and then destroy a card in your hand. If you do, special summon that Nephtys that you target in the grave in defense position, but its effects are negated. During the next time phase, you can destroy a Nephtys monster in if this card is destroyed, it's into the graveyard. You can special summon this card from your grave, which is really cool during the next time phase, which is nice. Then I play 2 copies of Chronicler. Chronicler's effect is that you can target a Nephtys in your grave, except another copy of itself, destroy a card in your hand, and if you do, add it that target from your hand to your hand, and during your next time phase, after this card was sent to the grave by a card effect, you can add 1 Nephtys from your graveyard to your hand, which is nice. Then I play 3 copies of Disciple, which is actually Devotee pre-ritual, which is kind of cool. And then during your main phase, you can destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you do, add a Nephtys monster from your deck to your hand, so it like adds any one that you need, which is awesome. And then during your next time phase, if this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to your grave, you get to add a Nephtys spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is really nice because all of these trigger this to add the spell or trap, and then you can destroy 1 of these to get a specific effect off, which is just really cool. It plays like very, very, very similar to Fire Kings, which is really interesting. So then I play 3 copies of our Manju of the 10,000 Hands. You need the Manju in here just for the instant normal summon and being able to search the Cerulean Phoenix or the Disciple, whichever one you currently need to get out to start your plays going. I'm going to move these up here so we can kind of keep going with the cards because I have quite a few more cards that are monsters to throw in. So for the next cards, we're going to be playing 2 copies of our Talismandra, 2 copies of Kandal, 1 copy of the Pen, and 1 copy of the book. I play this in just about every ritual deck in this ratio. Sometimes I play 3 and 2. Sometimes usually I play 2 and 2 and 1 and 1 because it just seems like the most logical number to me because I want to be able to use these as many times as possible. But something to keep in mind, you can't special summon from the extra deck when you use them, which kind of sucks, but you're going to get them off the field pretty quickly. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So really cool cards. I really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. It's just a really good deck. And it's very, very, very cheap, I have to say. So we're going to be playing one copy of Monster Reborn. I know it's a very beat up Monster Reborn. I need to get another one and put in here, but I had it, so I just threw it in here. One copy of Dark Hole. Dark Hole is here because all of them trigger off of being destroyed, which is nice during the next standby phase. 3 copies of Call by the Grave, excuse me. I know Called by something. You're being called. Called by the Grave. Basically, you could target, it just prevents hand traps, essentially. So, I mean, it's just really good. 3 copies of Rebirth of Nephtys. You can ritual summon either Devotee or Cerulean Phoenix with it. If they come out with any other Nephtys monsters, I'm sure that they'll give them other ritual spells, but for now we just have the 3. And basically its effect is that you can ritual summon them by using monsters in your hand or field. And then if you ritual summon Devotee or Cerulean Phoenix, you can destroy a card on the field, which is really nice. 3 copies of Pre-Prep, which is really a good card to play in this deck because you can search Cerulean Phoenix or Devotee because it says both of them state Rebirth, and Rebirth states both of them in the name, which is really cool. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to play 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. Because all of them trigger off of that. If you don't want to play the Torrential Tributes in this deck, you can always change them out for 3 Ash to go a little bit more competitively. I like the 3 Torrentials because it kind of catches your opponent off guard. And you can do it like midway through your opponent's turn, pop their field, and all of your monsters will trigger, which is really nice. And so that's why I play the 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. Not a lot of effects here, to be honest. So, for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Nephtys, the Sacred Preserver. It's really the best card in the extra deck. You have to use 2 Nephtys monsters to summon it, and then you get to use the following effects. You get to either, during your main phase, if this card was link summon, you can activate one of these effects. Either add a level 8 Wing Beast monster from your deck to your hand, then add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand, or destroy one Nephtys monster this card points to, then special summon one Nephtys monster with a different original name from your graveyard, but negate its effects. Really good card. Really cannot emphasize playing 3 of these is the best ratio. I would always play 3 of this, and it's a link 2, so it's really easy to summon. Really easy to summon, and it's probably, like I said, the best card in the whole, extra deck, because it gets out your Cerulean Phoenix and your Rebirth directly from your deck, which is just really good. So then I play 2 copies of Nephtys, the Sacred Flames. I never really go into the second one, and I might drop the second one. I've been playtesting it too, but I don't really need anything else in the extra deck. Usually I just summon this and maybe a Borload or Boral Sword. So basically its effect is that you use 2+ monsters, including at least a ritual monster, and then depending on the amount of ritual monsters you used to summon this, it gains effects. So if you use 1 ritual monster, it cannot be destroyed by battle. If you use 2 ritual monsters, it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and also gains 1200 attack, bringing it to 3600. If you use 3 ritual monsters, neither player can target it with card effects. Also, it gains another 2600, which goes to 4800. So it makes it so it cannot be destroyed by battle, cannot be destroyed by card effects, neither player can target it, and it gains 4800 if you use 4 or 3 ritual monsters to summon it, which is not that hard, and all of its link arrows are pointing down, because you can summon Devotee really easily, you can summon Cerulean Phoenix really easily in this deck, link into this, and then have essentially a untargetable, undestroyable 4800 beat stick. That's pretty much what it is. So then for the other link monsters, I play a Borload, just because you can make it every so often. Boral Sword, same reason. Trisbania, because I don't care about back row, and this deck really hates back row with this and, what's his name? Nephtys, the Sacred Phoenix, just banishing everything. Nightmare Unicorn, just to bounce stuff. Phoenix to pop more back row. Cerberus to pop monsters. And then for the XYZ monsters, I play 1 copy of Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy because it's still the best rank 8. And you can summon it very easily in this deck because you just have to have 2 of your Nephtys monsters, 2 of your big Nephtys Phoenixes on the field to summon it. Sky Cavalry, because you play a lot of rank or level 2 monsters. I played a couple of rank 2s in here. Sky Cavalry, because you can make it, this card cannot be destroyed by battle, so it's really good to just summon it and sit on it. And then you can target one XYZ, return detaching material to target a monster your opponent controls, and return it to the hand, which is really good. One to Gusto Phoenix, just because it can attack twice, and then the Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. The reason I played Cursed Javelin in here is because you can detach a material from this card and then target a monster your opponent controls until the end phase. Its attack becomes 0, and also it has its effects negated. And it can be activated during either player's turn, so it can really disrupt your opponent. And I really feel like more people should be playing Cursed Javelin in this deck. If they're not, Cursed Javelin is just really good in Nephtys. Because you can summon it, and it's essentially just like negates all monster effects. Like you can bait out your opponent with this card, just summoning this and then summoning whatever else you need. So just a really good overall card. But that's it, guys, for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It's a pretty simple deck. It's a lot of fun to play. And it's really inexpensive. It's probably the most inexpensive of the 3 out of Hidden Summoners, because it didn't get that great of support, but it can be good if you play it right. Which I think this is going to be one of the better builds, to be honest with you. You can mix it with Fire Kings and play Grunics in here and destroy all monsters and spells and traps, and it's interesting to play, but it's hard to play a 40-card deck with that, because you start mixing the Fire King engine and you start mixing this, and you can do it, but it's a little difficult, to be honest, and I tried to do it. So, anyways, guys, you can even bump to 45, just saying. But anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck profile down in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.